Prepare ourselves for the worst case scenario, since we found ourselves in one of the worst case scenarios to begin with.
Just wish you could take it away from her. No kid should have to go through stuff like this.
Now, the Halls rely tremendously on their faith to help guide them through this journey. Back home in North Texas, they have an incredible support system. In fact, the congregation at their church is leading an around-the-clock prayer vigil for 8 days the week of Jessie's surgery. The Halls even have some friends on opposite time overseas who agree to take over some late-night shifts in that prayer vigil. This little girl is inspiring people literally around the world. It is difficult to understand how and why a disease so deadly could be inside the brain of a child, but it is, and it has to go. Just ahead, Jessie goes in for the most radical brain surgery there is. Doctors believe removing half of Jessie's brain is the only way this child will survive. Behind me are the operating rooms at the Johns Hopkins Children's Center. Right now, 6-year-old Jessie Hull is being prepped for a life-changing surgery. In just a few hours, surgeons will remove half of Jessie's brain.
Are you really smart?
I hope so. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're in the same team.
From the moment they met, Jessie and Dr. Ben Carson had an instant connection. Today, the world-renowned pediatric neurosurgeon will cut out the diseased right side of Jessie's brain.
Oh, that's me, cameraman!
Much of the time, she looks like a normal child, but Jessie has Rasmussen's encephalitis, a rare neurological disease.
Her speech is starting to slur.
She could have a seizure at any time.
Without the surgery, the disease would continue to eat away at Jessie's brain and eventually cause her body to shut down. So Chris and Christy Hall made the heart-wrenching decision to travel all the way from Texas to Baltimore for the surgery they hope will enable Jessie to lead a healthy, normal life.
What they expect as soon as she wakes up from surgery is that the left side of her body will be completely limp. The first thing they want to do is try to get her walking. It'll take weeks, and with braces, hopefully we will get her walking again without crutches.
Since learning their little girl had this disease, the Halls have been able to move forward thanks to unwavering support from their family, friends, their entire town, and especially Jessie.
She doesn't let anything stop her, so that's very encouraging for us.
But even Dr. Carson knows how trying this day is.
Maybe about a week out, you start to realize, okay, I guess it's gonna be okay. But you're sort of a ball of nerves in the meantime. That's only natural.
Well, nerves and all, this is it. Jessie's surgery is about to begin. The morning began very early. Jessie and her mom and dad were in pre-op at 6 o'clock.
The hardest part is going to be for you. She's going to be asleep. Okay?
Doctors, nurses, questions.
What are you going to draw?
Goodbyes to her grandparents here from Texas and Wyoming.
How you doing, young lady?
Good.
You hanging in there?
Yes.
All right, good. You ready for your haircut?
Yes.
Okay.
My haircut.
This is the man who brought Jessie and her family all the way from Texas to Baltimore. The only person this morning who seemed more at ease than world-renowned pediatric neurosurgeon Dr. Ben Carson was Jessie. This bright 6-year-old marched through the corridors of Johns Hopkins Hospital, joked with nurses, and hopped up onto the operating table. For her mother, a brief, wrenching kiss goodbye. 9:32, the surgery began. The scalp pulled back, cranium opened, and 45 minutes later, brain revealed.
They're going to make their first incision and then take the temporal lobe out first. Then they'll probably move to the frontal lobe. So that's what they're doing right now, is sort of marking the brain.
Dr. Eileen Vining, neurologist, diagnosed Rasmussen's encephalitis in Jessie and identified the diseased right side of her brain. Until last August, Jessie was a normal child. Now, this dramatic surgery is the only way to save her life. Dr. Carson's operating room is quiet. Soft classical music, voices hushed. He and his team work without interruption, hour upon hour. Periodically, pieces of Jessie's brain are sent to the lab for diagnosis, in this case, and to help in research. And that is very important to her parents, who have been so public with their pain in order to help other families.
I get all of our blog comments emailed to the BlackBerry, and we're getting as many from Baltimore as we are from Texas. We got one from Iraq.
Ma'am, right now we're starting to close, and she's doing good. Vital signs are stable at the moment.
Late this afternoon at 3:13, surgery complete, they began closing Jessie's head. Finally, the moment the Halls have been waiting, praying for. 7 hours after surgery began, Dr. Carson gives them the good news.
Everything went fine. No problems at all.
Great.
Just as smooth as could be. Somebody said their prayers, obviously. So,
At 4:37, Chris and Christy get their first look at their beautiful girl, ready to start the next chapter of her life.